No more talking about the Brazilian players and how they look, Trev. If you're streaming.
Can't help it if they're ugly, brother.
No more talk. That's not it. That's not it.
That's exactly what it is.
No more talking about that particular Brazilian player.
Kaka. That God-given Kaka.
No, he's still playing. No, he's still playing.
Oh, Allison, the most beautiful bearded man in the world.
He's got Junior in his name. He's got Junior.
Allison Junior. Yeah, I love him.
No, he's not a goalie. He's a striker.
What, Vinny Junior and the most awful advert ever to a Green Earth?
Yeah, but what you were saying about his appearance, you can't say that now.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking paraplegic.
Oh, right, that was it. Oh, I think it was an M.
A nice guy.
An M.
An M. A munter.
A nice guy.
Nice guy. Right, let's lock in. Let's end that music. Music is ended. I am here with Flabbycaticus. Will I join you? I'll just join you. When do you want to get a rash?
What the fuck?
Fuck is happening?
God. Ooh, pardon me.
Can we actually win one tonight?
No.
I don't like that heel I'm seeing. That heel I'm seeing is saying that's a very new player.
Yeah, yeah. That's not good, is it? I've got Maraud's Kled.
You got Maraud? You got a skin I haven't got for Kled?
Got one.
Oh, I want to be set, but I'm definitely not swapping with Rumble. I got Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. What a tune, eh? Do I just be used to cunt and go Milio?
I mean, no.
What's that?
Just no. Hey Google, turn off Wally and Winnie.
Wally and Vinny? He's on fuck all this game, mate. He's already been turned off.
Who's playing right now?
Norway, Brazil.
Do you reckon Haaland's going to do anything?
I hope so.
Same.
We got a better chance against beating Brazil, Norway than Brazil. I think.
I was about to say, oh, they haven't got any ranged. And my eyes went down the list.
Yeah, they got the
centre.
Hoi got with executes. That's quite dirty, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, almost. I knew that was. Oh, Martinelli. Of course, he missed it.
That Fura skin's nice. Well, the splash eyes.
Hillbilly Gragas is nice. Splash art's good.
You're typing it.
Mm.
I think if there's a champion between Hillbilly Gragas and Ergot, I think you'd literally.
What, Hillbilly Ergot?
Yeah, Hillbilly Ergot. That's what we need. Why isn't that a skin?
That seems like quite an obvious skin to make.
It does, doesn't it? Just a Hillbilly line in general.
Mm. Oh, Allison to save.
Big fucking gun. Who am I?
No crab got no party. No Clogmore. Clog Drainer. Oh, I don't know.
Just for the fans of the Can Crusher. Crushed.
Crushed, just like your floorboards.
Yeah.
Shave me! Woohoo!
What is happening?
Mate, they're getting fucking dogged on, mate.
They got fucking dog walked for all of that.
I know what I'm doing.
Their pantaloons were literally pushed to the side then, wasn't it?
Yes. Give me a sec.
Port misfortune for being fucking AFK.
I actually am at FK.
Get off your fucking sister's TikTok, mate, and play the fucking game.
I wasn't on any fucking TikTok. I was wondering why fucking cat food was falling down.
Cat food is falling down, falling down,
That's my point.
falling down. Why is cat food falling down?
I'll go investigate.
My sister's TikTok.
Fucking Paisa keeps leaving her queue for last minute. It's fucking driving me nuts. I'm too slippery for UTF. Yes, yeah. Oh, I'm not too slippery for that. Oh!
Oh. Have that.
Collector.
Can I have that?
Can you go
Yeah,
collect?
I'm okay.
Can you go collect the Zac with Shadow Flame? Would that be a thing?
I think it'd be a pretty shit one, but yeah, I mean, I could go it.
Man, have you ever tried AD Zac? I'm just saying, we used to try it all back in the day. Maokai.
Yeah, I've tried AD Zac, yeah, many a time. I've tried full Major Zac as well. It didn't work. Actually, the AD one was alright, to be fair. If they had a squishier team, I'd go AP Zac. But there's no one I'd be able to blow up, really. Got Fiora and Gragas, or just, all lovely old. Fucking
Thanks.
get your cock out and give us a twirl after that one, lad. Come on.
Well, my given's not that
They've
big.
raised the price of their mart still.
Are they? Probably because everyone was fucking getting it.
You can handle me.
Well, it's 400 on its own. I always thought it was 200.
He was there. He was waiting.
Oh, come on, boys. I had 4 people's fists in my fucking anus then.
I was dead.
You boys
I
were fucking sucking each other off.
apologize.
Always got art still now.
Don't get cocky.
You actually got a heart still.
Let's start them to go. Well, we don't mind that. We don't. Oh. I'll have that.
Is that Gragas' name? Evelyn Tashhitsu. I thought it said everyone Hitler.
Huh.
That's like, what? What?
Set sail. Come back if you need more.
So close. Almost had it then.
Go on, TF.
I've got a good feeling about this. I'll be right here. Wait. I know what I'm doing. One step ahead. Step 2.
She thought she was her.
Oh my god. I don't live.
Because your boy got the turret.
I'm so small. Oh.
I'd appreciate that.
Oh, Brazil had a penalty.
They win it, score it, or miss it.
I like
No, it's 0-0 half time. Literally fucked it. Don't know who it was.
Had to be Vinny, didn't it?
No, he didn't. He didn't take it.
We don't get Shemesh, whatever his name is.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah, actually. He kind of looks like that, doesn't he? Might have been him. Yeah.
What a beautiful
Running up
chocolate
the
man!
range.
They were so
Hello, Joshua.
Don't get cocky.
Boy.
Sirim, Sirinisti opposito standim. Siriniti opposito running around. Sirin is a wonderful thing to do.
Help, I am under the water. Have that.
Went with your brother.
Your star.
Trying to get away from Senna. I was trying to all walk around.
Every death is a sacrifice.
How have you been, Snails? How's the World Cup treating you? In your ends?
Love is
True. We know this. Love is true. He's gonna hit me. Oh.
Lucky guy.
Many colors in the homo rainbow. The colors range from black to yellow. Have any games been in your state so far?
I know what I'm doing. Favorite curio of mine. No prey, no pay.
She's doing so much damage, you know.
Who's that?
Hi, sir. She's gone static. Luden's Horizon Focus.
Who's that? Off spiritual, I'll go for I don't know what this set's doing.
He's not very good.
See, I got absolutely fucking shrieking me.
Step 2.
It'll be alright though.
Why though? He's only got a fucking heart steel.
Yeah, he just sits in his W and I can't damage him really, so.
Not fair.
Running is only half. You've got dangerous
I mean, I could do without Fiora doing like half my health with 1 Q.
Fuck it, there we go, have that. No! Head this way, Kaiser!
Telling you, she's doing ridiculous damage, mate. She gets a Sheen, she gets Lich Bane after she builds this fucking...
She gets a Charlie!
Not what I said.
Charlie Sheen.
Oh, fair, you got me.
Setting
I am
Come on.
appalled and ashamed.
good feeling about
Come on.
quite the task. Luckily, I secured this scenic spot just in time.
Oh fuck. What a time to get me passive.
I can't deal with Fiora, you know.
Yeah. We'll have to get a little omen and try to slow him down. Pardon me.
I'd be okay if it was 6 items, because I'd use Blade of the Ruined King. It's my 6th item, but it's not 6 items.
Don't get cocky.
Got a lot of damage.
Who's that?
Did I? Just fucking took it.
Yeah, fucking. Fuck you, Gragas. Slow as dicker. Was it crazy busy when it was happening?
The voice rings. Too late to run. You can handle me, summoning.
Done.
Oh my god. He's gone AD. Nah, sorry, I was looking at Urgot. He's gone quite a good build, that Gragas. He just can't get to me. When he does, he fucking almost 3 shots me.
If you're only dead, count yourself lucky.
Easy, fucking all we get, mate. Always wins.
I played poop. I played.
Probably changes in, does it, eh? Come on.
Wow. Yeah, in case the rest of the world brings. I'll do one more, my friend. I didn't know what the time was.
You fucking dragged me out of my fucking wank cave for this.
Hey,
You're doing fucking too.
any time together is time earned. Well, it depends how quick we win this next game, innit? Yeah, people looking for a piss are everywhere. Be careful of that. So Joe, when we loading up Smite 2,
Fucking hell. Fucking smite.
2.
I haven't played 2.
You
I
ain't,
imagine it's just like Overwatch 2.
you ain't lived.
Fucking same crock of shit as the first one, I imagine.
You ain't lived, mate. I actually found a hero I liked playing before I stopped playing, and that was Achilles.
Achilles was in the first one, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know, but I never played him. I will be the best!
I will be the best.
It's Misfortune again. I don't fancy it.
I fancy a little Morgana, mate.
Little Morgie. Little Morgie.
Blade Mistress or Luna, gotta be that, innit?
We don't have a tank, Joel. What should I do?
Ramsden.
Why?
I'll go fucking Ramsden, come on.
But I will not break.
Wow.
I couldn't let you leave
Wow.
the Morgana up there. You said you were going Ramos.
Wow. Fucking
Wow.
I'm going Talia.
Wow.
I'm not going Talia.
Snail's just
You fucking
downloaded
dog
Smite
water.
2 again.
Christ, he must be bored, isn't he?
His Major League Baseball's obviously worn off.
Just got to be game bored as fuck.
No, that's when he goes back to Arc letters.
That game was fun if it didn't break my soul every time a server changed.
When
Like, fucking refresh.
all my memory of that, of me and you playing that, is us setting up that base and that Brontosaurus just casually just fucking walking through it as if nothing happened. Just fucking destroying everything.
We played it for like 5 hours. The first hour was just throwing shit at each other on a beach.
And
the
getting
last-
killed by a
last
fucking
5
crocodile.
Yeah. And then the next 4 was building a shack that Brontosaurus fucking walked over and killed.
It's just the
Sure.
fact that we just turned around and went, what the fuck is that? And it just went, la 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 la. We were funny, don't we? Yeah, Snails is actually good at Arc, that's the only difference.
Blinded by the shadows your light casts.
Yeah, that's always better. It's always better when you're good.
Home. A place that never leaves you.
Oh, what am I doing? What the fuck are we against? AD, AD, AP, AD, Mel.
Wow.
Right. Probably just armor then, really.
I'm glad it was a scare and wasn't anything real, mate.
To walk barefoot, skin to soil.
Okay. What stunned me?
Real, probably, mate.
No, she was fucking nowhere near.
Oh, they got an action. They got your favourite.
Oh, it might have been Mel, actually. Mel Zedong. Oh, we've got a team with a Kale. Oh, I liked that. I did like that.
Did you? I thought you would.
I did like that.
I thought you said your PP corrected it. God damn, you got a strong PP.
These mortal cycles begin anew.
Fuck, son of a bitch. I was stunned for so long. My own gosh damn stun. I'm going to have another Pepsi Max. I need something to take the edge off.
You forced my hand.
I have endured worse.
Got my fill of the briny deep, thank you very much.
If this game is delayed till 3 AM, I'm gonna be so devastated.
Or would it be delayed?
I was
Weather.
Oh, what thunderstorm and stuff. She was just on the edge. Oh, so she's level 6.
Yeah, I'm level 6.
I'm not. I keep
Well,
fucking dying.
Isn't it?
Yeah, if she gets going.
Not sure if I just live in a sentence on kids' lost
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
E-Day.
big sneeze.
Is that Gears of War? If
Yeah,
so,
it is.
and there's Horde mode. Me and Flabby and his brother, who's adopted,
Good man.
we absolutely loved Horde mode. We loved Mass Effect multiplayer as well, but that just weren't the same. But no, when is it out?
I find beauty in these shadows.
I don't like getting the ult back towards us, if I'm honest. Not a fan of that.
What is
at all.
that with me sneezing? Ugh. No, I mean we could do without it.
Maybe you're
Multiple
allergic to
team.
that, kids.
Multiple team. Have they tried to make it good, and they've just ruined the old Horde mode?
How'd you compete at Horde? Watch you kill them all?
Can't remember. I think it was waves, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like,
Right.
how would you make that competitive? Because Gears of War 3 Horde mode was shit. Because you had to build the turrets and stuff, and everyone was just sweaty on kills rather than actually trying to survive.
Oh, do you mean like leaderboards? Or do you mean in the game? Like live? If it's on Game Pass, I'll definitely get it. Not gonna lie, Gut Joel, this is probably the least fun I've ever had on Morgana.
Yeah, they got quite a disgusting team. Didn't even know I could die mid-ult. They take it in at 6 minutes. That's fucking crazy. Delete the bot. Fucking hell.
How have they rushed us this bad?
Once I had grace, now I have pain.
As long as we're not like competing in game for stuff, because you'll know you'll get someone who don't sleep, who will just literally camp all the good weapons and shit like that. And it's just arse.
Well, that
Takes
was
the fun
what
out of it.
Gears of War 3 was about, wasn't it? Horde mode.
Was it?
Yeah, because you had to get kills or points to get turrets and build barricades and stuff.
I remember that, but I'm on about if there's teams.
Oh.
So that you got like us three and another three and another three, and there's finite resources. You know.
Sorry, I'm picking up what you're putting down, buddy.
They've actually got such a good team. Like layout.
Only those who love can break your heart.
They just shouldn't be tanky enough to dive 2 turrets at level fucking 10. Well, unless Timo gets fucking eaten alive like that.
Heal by fire.
Mel's doing so much damage. I need to rush Zonyas, I think. Nice flash. Nice. KO went with you.
Begin anew.
Yeah, nice. What? Minion turned around and fucking bonked me, mate.
Whether by chains or by wings, we are all bound.
Defend, Weasel. Oi, oh, Weasel!
You don't need pants for the victory dance, cause baboon's better
Baboon
than
better
weasel.
than we.
I are a baboon, big star cartoon.
Do 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 do.
I have endured worse.
Oi, oh, Weasel.
All manner of things I can't eat.
Some call me evil. Shall I prove them right? Heal by fire. Lighten the blinkers.
Nice, Trev.
I'm always dead before my fucking ult goes off.
Yeah, we died for a good cause, mate.
Oh, this MF. Oh, she's gone fucking bloodthirst a second. Oh, mate. People just don't know how to play the game. Why are you playing it? Stop learning. We don't want you to learn. Oh, Snails, have you heard about LOL
Cox
Classic?
out. You heard about Cox out?
My shadow outruns my sisters in life. You thought my magic evil.
Mate, Tamira deletes me.
At least we lasted a 10.
Yeah.
What I got in.
You got blamed for that, mate.
Mortal cycle begin anew.
I didn't go in. Someone got fucking caught.
Oh, I put my shield on you, you went in. You
That was
literally
the
rolled
last
in.
fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, the last fight of the game.
I thought it was like fight before. No, well. S plus though. Come on.
Yeah, it's got to exist. Otherwise, they're just doing the thing where they just ruin it. Oh, it's awful. I'll do another one. Let's go. One more.
Fuck you know. Do we have to?
That was painful. Well, we can start our Minecraft fucking journey again, mate. You can actually play
yeah.
Cobblemon this time.
Oh, I'm not. I
Join me.
just don't think it doesn't look good.
Join me, brother. When you're in there, it's different.
I'd much rather just try Horde Oil like a fucking oligarch.
I'm
Oh,
on the
Timo.
case.
Timo's there. Do I want him?
Is it Christmas?
Sandal Scout Timo, reporting for duty.
It's all gonna say Christmas time.
What skin, Joel?
We've got a lot of champs up there, huh? Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya?
Timo.
Have you got a Christmas skin?
I have.
I could go Christmas.
Let's go Christmas skins.
Go double Christmas, mate.
Out of all the skins I have, you'll make me go Christmas.
I've got Sugar Rush and 2 Chromas, mate, and I'm old Saint Zillion.
Alright, mate. I'm Happy Elf. Let's go.
Yeah, but your splash art don't look bad. Mine looks like a fucking JPEG.
Mate, I don't look like Timo. That's got to be a
I don't
bad.
look like a lead character.
You look like someone from the Big Les show. That's fucking more of a compliment than I could give anybody.
Fucking 2 mangoes, $5.
Two
Can.
mangoes, $5.
In bargain can.
Fucking bargain. Don't need pants for the victory dance.
I know we've gone Christmas skins, but he's actively gone Ravager fucking Nocturne, like by choice.
Don't know what to say.
That's
I can't defend
crazy.
him.
Fucking hell.
Here, take it.
I'd rather defend Rommel at the Nuremberg, mate, than defend that fucking Ravager.
Thought you were going Lord of the Rings then. You went totally a different way. Oh, they have a clown that you admire. And some Christmas tunes out here. Let's go. Oh, we got Tyson on our team.
Have we?
Oh, and Mike.
Oh, come on.
That's why he's gone Ravager, mate. He is a Ravager.
Fucking Ravager. Fucking cover your ears. Cover your fucking ears.
Oh my god. They're wasting a lot of resources on me, then.
They like so totally wasted a lot of resources, Scoop.
Brilliant.
Oh, have that.
What Caitlyn's skin is that?
Like the Arcana one, I think.
The arcane one.
Yeah.
Tell me you've got blue hair and a nose piercing without telling me you've got blue hair and a nose piercing. Tell me.
Tell me you go to silent interpretive dance feminism dances at the Wedgwood Rooms.
Without actually knowing what feminism is. Don't know how I got away then. But I did! Yeah, snails. So, snails. Oh, that was a Lux. I didn't even know they had one. So, snails, do you know if we're competing for resources on this Horde multiplayer thing?
There's always more world to see.
Oh, God.
You fucking game, bro. How's he done that?
Hello, shopkeep. What's the latest? Vandal Scout always strives for excellence.
Do you think I should go Static Shiv Hurricane?
No. No, I think you should go more AP, as I'm the only other AP. And I've only got one damaging spell.
You've got all the spell.
I've only got one damaging spell.
That's all the spell. Oh. Yes, boy.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Who's got them quick fucking fingers, Daddy?
Yeah.
You like that?
I can really do
give
about
you
that.
life, and you give me that. This is
So
how
that
you-
means I'm going to go Berserker Greaves then, if I'm going full AP. Well, I'm not going full AP, I'm going Static Shiv.
You tell him, mate.
So what do you want me to do then? Static Shiv Nash's Tooth?
You fucking tell him, mate. I don't want you to go static shit. What? I don't know where you get static shit from.
It's AP and AD, and attack speed.
It's AP.
Yeah.
That's got to be new.
It is. I literally told you about it last time we played.
Oh, fucking God. You say a lot, though.
I do.
Always
And I should
You
always
should
be listening to
remember
it.
all of it. That's a lie. That's a lie.
This Lux can go fuck herself.
Agreed.
Fuck it.
Why you thing takes up the whole map?
Yep. Oh god, there's a lot in there.
Oh.
I fucking got him. I fucking got him!
Got him.
So, what's my second item then, Joe?
So, what's my, like, second item? Like, if you're so fucking hostile, you've got static.
Yeah, I know. What's my second item?
I don't fucking know. I don't fucking play Teemo, do I?
What am I doing? Are you just going to let
Well,
me play Teemo how I want to play Teemo, or what?
Go fucking Storm Surge then.
What, second? Not. You don't want me to go crit?
But crit.
Yeah, Shadow Flame.
Another
Was it AP, didn't I?
from the
Yeah,
seafloor.
Shadow Flame. AP crit.
Fucking what is this god? God.
Buy some of these potions before they disappear.
I haven't even been in the fight, and I'm fucking myself. Yeah, no, that's fucking sends that for a mile away. Just fucking go whatever, mate.
They just
I was
fucking.
just under turret, mate, and got fucking died, so I'm fuck it all. Fuck
They
it all.
just ganged me, mate.
Go on, Tice. Go on, Mike.
I'm gonna fuck you till you love me, pussy.
What does he say?
That's it. Yeah.
What a story. I gotta write that one down.
That twink with the paintbrush got some fucking range on him, you know.
I'm surprised you don't play him, mate. He's one of them champs.
Because he has like 45 abilities and I can't be arsed with it.
I just keep getting deleted. By a first item Zonya's Hourglass Lysandra. Take of that what you will.
That was tough, but I'm tough too.
Okay. Just come into a laptop. Mate, the amount of Shaco boxes up here.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Like, I don't even think the big minion shows up the box, does it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Well, I'd assume so, because it's stealth, and it shows stealth, so...
About today.
Blinded her.
Nice, dude.
No abilities for you. Ah, she walked into... How'd she die from me? She walked into a mushroom.
Maybe.
Master! How else would she have died? Do I get Banshee's fail?
That sounds about right.
Nah, it's got to be Shadow Flame, innit? Shadow Flame into Storm Surge, then. Into the boy. That means I've got a bit of early pen.
Don't use that on a blue moon.
Oh, that's good, then. That's good. That's good.
Storm Surge was a nice little surprise, wasn't it? Fuck you know.
I mean, if they had more poke, I don't...
I didn't get hit by one ability, and it's some fucking bullshit Luden Storm Surge proc. This is gooberific. You just got to put it through pretty easily.
Their all-in is ridiculous, and their poke is ridiculous.
Yeah, they got a lot of good stuff.
Lissandra going in and stunning people, doing her ult, it's just... It's doing me in. I think I've died because of that every time.
It's Huawei's fucking... just everything. Huawei's and Lux's spells that are doing me.
Their range is fucking ridiculous.
No, that was a shaker box.
Yeah.
In my sights.
Oh, we got a Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Her build is fucking...
Tasty if you locked golden showers. Sunset, baby,
Thank you.
on the avenue. I get that drunk sex feeling, yeah, when I'm with you. We're tearing up the town, 'cause that's just how we do.
That's how we do.
We got that sweet high loving, dancing in the dark. Out in the streets we are running, shut down every block. Oh, come off it. Suppose they've been storm surged. Camilla's quite tanky.
Please buy something. This stuff is heavy.
Scout and observe.
Nice.
Maybe I should have gone tank.
Don't have one.
Expected.
The way I just global aggroed that.
Securing the perimeter.
No matter how impossible the mission, I won't give up.
Bargains what you paid for it.
I do like the look of that spell.
It's a good spell. I assume that's her ult.
Yeah. Lissandra.
What's that?
Look at her build.
Oh no, I just looked at it.
Deserve that? You don't.
Oh mate, she's gone Kraken Slayer, third item.
So big, there's always something to explore.
Maybe this is like top draw tactics that we just can't comprehend yet.
I mean, there is a slight point.
Fucking hell.
Gonna leave this right here.
Oh, I'll just die again, shall I? Yeah, I think I'll just die again, actually. Be alright. If you boys don't mind.
I mean, if Wukong went lethality, he would
I
be
think
hurting.
Wukong's doing alright, to be fair.
Yeah, but he's got
He's
fucking.
probably got almost.
He's got Trinity Force and more of Malmoias, mate.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the Trinity Force.
I am.
I like the standard. I don't know about the Mao.
I don't like the Trinity Force.
The Mao Zay.
Salvage at its best.
Sound off 3, 4.
The range of that spell is so fucking dumb.
Pay no attention to the trap.
Where did I put my garbage?
Fucking Hui, mate.
I know.
Jesus.
I can't even see Hui when she's damaging me. Oh, I might survive too long.
Circle has been broken.
Caitlyn not killing the Shaco was diabolical then.
Pardon me?
Caitlyn. She couldn't kill the Shaco.
Oh, couldn't you?
Nope.
Silly.
That Lissandra is a fucking weasel as well.
Fucking is.
Hey, I've just been stuck between fucking 100 different fucking.
Calibrating.
No, let me die. Stuck between a fucking 100 Shaco boxes. sells for?
Boom. Headshot.
Iron Mike's trying his best.
Yes, mate.
There's health back here, mate.
Nice. Taken, mate. Taken. They're fucking taken. I'm not taken.
Why did it? Oh, my fucking static shift proc.
The static proc off turrets?
Yeah.
Or it don't?
But I just did. So that's the only
I
way.
just wondered if you threw a shroom as well when a like a AoE
Nah.
or something. Shroomy activities happens.
I don't know what item I should get. Rabadons, I guess.
Rabadons.
Just another chance to
Every
show the
item's been
tenacity
tempered by
of
the
Vandal
ocean.
Scout spirit.
Feeding the fishes.
Lol.
I landed in Hawaii's Sphere.
How did you?
Yeah, he like did it, cast it instantly as soon as I landed.
Just got Max Fang snowballed. Fuck. Back. I might have to look into this fucking paintbrush mush. There's a paintbrush mush in Smite, and he was dog water.
That's because we didn't know how to play Smite.
Mate, what?
You heard us. I didn't start.
Keep banging on Hades. And Kepri. Little
Yeah.
beetle.
Yeah, but that weren't in the actual game mode, was it? That was just in the little arena shit.
It still fucking counts.
Still counts. But hey.
If you were an absolute beast on Twisted Tree Line, you wouldn't say like, oh, I can't play League because I can play Twisted Tree Line.
Oh mate, look at that Caitlyn's damage. Look at your damage.
What?
He was the lowest in the game.
Knackered. Let's not talk about damage in the game, maybe we'll talk about Morgana.
We didn't. Stream didn't.
Fucking turgid.
Stream didn't see it, mate.
Fucking 9k damage.
Nah.
Dinky.
Nah.
Fucking stinks, mate. Someone smells and it's you playing League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was just your breath.
Norway 1-0 up.
Go on the way. Is it Haaland? Is it our boy?
Oh, don't know. 83rd minute. Norway 1-0.
Oh, imagine if they put Brazil out.
Oh, well, yeah. I want them to. Mexico, Norway. Quarterfinals.
It was your boy. It was your boy.
What?
It was Haaland.
Oh, come on.
Sickness, and I've got the cure.
Of course it was.
Got that lock guy. I'd rather. Do you want lock? Because I'll be Yasuo.
No, I don't want to look.
Do I want to be Yasuo?
What is he, mage?
He's like a mage assassin.
Oh, not no ram.
That
Death is like the wind, always by my side.
Dev is like the wind. I don't even want to play him, so I'm not going to. Death is about the wind. Wind by my side.
Wind.
Like the wind.
Wind. By the wind.
I got wind. Always by my side. I don't like that team. Will we win this game? The answer's yes, baby. Oh. The answer's yes. It's tiny tempered, mate. It's written in the stars. Who am I? Yes, sir. What first item am I going to go? Yuntals. For the culture.
Actually, no, I want Brazil to win because I can't sit through them fucking doing their shit boat thing. Can't be asked with it.
My music and my blade tell the stories of the fallen and the dragon's blessing. Can you best the strength of a dragon?
Oh, a Vega.
I couldn't get my last fucking. I haven't seen the. I couldn't get my last hit. Oh, the Shamaka can control dragons. Ooh, ooh, ah! Oh, I don't like that stun.
Looks bigger.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. Oh, that Vega, he's just had a fucking nightmare.
To seek a dragon's favor is pride. To receive it, honor.
What are these spells?
What was that ability? Oh, Swain.
Swain.
Was that? They got another way? Has got I was waiting for it. I was like, I'm just gonna win wall when she lands.
I was just stunned.
Oh, actually, she was rooted.
I was chosen for a reason. I will not fail.
Fuck you, Yumi, you little fucking. I don't like the way his W can go over my wall.
Whose?
There he goes.
If he W's your wall, then it disappears. But you can do it over. Oh, good ult.
Who?
Yumi. Nowhere near anyone.
We're killing buddies.
Dragons will not let me falter.
Win one for science!
Oh my god, 2-0. Haaland again.
Brazil out.
Oh my fucking god, 2-0.
Brazil are out. They're out.
89th minute.
They're out.
Yeah, they're out. What a goal as well. He's from the fucking penalty box. From outside it. He just fucking oofed it. Fucking bottom corner. Ancelotti's a fraud, mate. He's a fraud. I know the Brazil team's shit at the moment, but fucking hell.
A butcher revels in slaughter. I sing of its cost.
Why am I frontlining?
I was in the fucking thick of it, lad.
No,
Everybody knows.
I'm just looking at the Graggers thinking, why the fuck am I frontlining?
An enemy, however fierce, can
Now I can bat around the bodies.
belief can always become real.
The hell for you fucking big-eyed freak.
What? She done 1,000 damage in one hit.
What?
She hit me with one spell and it was a dash.
What?
What the fuck?
I've never heard you say that what before.
Jesus Christ.
What?
I thought I had time to fucking spare. Oh my god.
Now I can bat around the bodies. Johnny loves Chachi. I'm surprised you ain't got the nothing phone, Joel.
I do.
What, you do?
I do have the nothing phone.
Oh, I fucking profiled you correctly, mate.
I got it in January and I haven't swapped it over, so I am still using my old phone at the moment.
You're a
because I
fucking
just
melt.
can't be asked to swap it.
It's
But,
quite nice. I like the headphones and that you get with it and the price.
Yeah. You don't get headphones with it.
No, I mean like the alternative to Google and AirPods.
Oh, right, I see, yeah. Yeah, I like it. I like the glyph thing on the back. That's the main reason I got it.
Yeah.
Just can't kill Samira. Mainly because she does 1,200 damage in one spell.
Well, you're Lissandra, mate. Why aren't you going round with Omen?
I fucking actually might, you know.
Live in the now. Look to the future.
Oh my god. Ooh, almost. Almost.
I just can't
7 minutes
stop her.
extra time. I don't know what stuns me.
They've got so much CC, mate. Yumi hasn't died yet.
Yeah, probably not. Right, I'm just gonna run back in and die again.
Down I go. I'm gonna join you.
Yeah, might as well. Thank fuck for that.
Invigorating. Move with chaos.
The road goes ever on.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she's just so fucking strong. She's got so many dashes and stuff. That's another Penta.
Nope.
She'll dive turret. She's got a Yumi.
I don't get how she killed me in like 3 attacks.
Yeah, I know. That's well, yeah. That's
She
literally
hasn't
what
got.
I go.
She critted me every time she had to. She hasn't got 100% crit.
So many paths, and you chose this one.
That little fucking rat knew I was going for it.
Why Brazil getting shirty? They're fucking.
Death is too tangible to still my blade.
Yeah, game's over, boys. You fucked it. Norway beating Brazil. I know Brazil are stinky at the moment, but Norway beating Brazil is funny.
It's almost like Ghana beating us.
Yeah, but they fucking didn't. That's the difference.
So I wasn't stunned by Veigar, but I was stunned for the entirety of my health.
Swain's almost dead.
It's just a joke. We've had 2. Has she been buffed or something?
She's got a Yumi, mate, isn't she? So she's just getting, and Samira's always been fucking jokes. If she gets rolling.
Oh, mate. I don't know what just hit me. Something hit me straight away and just deleted me.
Yeah, I've been quick.
Gragas not going any armor.
Me not going Omen.
I didn't realise that. Gragas no armor. What the fuck?
Did you go tank?
Are we
though?
playing with like new people? That's what it fucking feels like. Because people are just
Yeah.
building like absolute fucking goons.
Goons. Most damage on the team. Look at that. Look at the damage, bro. I done the most damage in the game apart from her. And
Yeah.
she almost done triple mine.
That's fucking jokes, isn't it?
That says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah. How is
That fucking
Varus?
says it all.
How is Varus and Vel'Koz?
You seen Varus
How
has
has he
only done
done
500 damage more than you?
I wish I could see their levels of like their accounts. They gotta be new. Gotta be.
You can? Oh, I thought you could.
To build Gragas, Warmog, Spirit Visage.
View profile. Oh, you can't. Yeah, 3. Is that XP? 397? Is that their level? That was the what's near
Yeah,
Nibaros?
they've
Yeah,
got
397.
they've got karma. Yeah, they've got a higher level than us. In fact, almost. How are they that shit?
Oh my god, 397. Mate, that must be a bought account, surely. That's crazy.
It must be.
Fucking
It must
crazy.
be. Must be a bought account, Matt. And he's fucking level 5 Gragas as well. It's not his first shindig. He's level 17 with Karma, 21 with Thresh, 12 with Janna. Oh, he is bad.
Neymar just scored a penalty.
If they come back and fucking draw and take it to pens and
Nah,
win on
mate.
pens.
Goalie's just laughing at him. No, I mean it was 7 minutes extra time. It's the 100th minute. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got to end.
Allison being beat from there is bad.
Classic Liverpool goalie, innit? Just shit.
Nah, that's unlike him, that.
Is going on.
That Schneider up, give him the assist both times. It'd be 2-2 if he didn't miss a penalty.
Fucking 101st minute, Mish. You know what I mean?
That's the end of his career, that is.
Who, Gamayash?
Yeah. All time. 2-1.
Yeah. Come on. Norway, England, quarters. Ancelotti's a fraud, mate. This Brazil team's knackers.
I think it might be bedtime, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bedtime.
I think I'm gonna have a little snuggle in bed.
Yeah.